Hello people on YouTube. So I've finally gotten around to making a quick overview video of my new car. Well, when I say new, obviously new to me. But saying that, I've had it for 3 months already. So finally getting around to doing this. So as you can see, E92 M3. Yeah, sold the C63 for this. And I'll explain why in a minute, but quick overview of the car first. So the car itself is a 2010, but this is actually a bit of a special M3. Those of you with sharp eyes will have caught the details already, but this is a one of 707 worldwide E92 M3. So let me explain. It's a 2010 edition model. So if you've never heard of that before, that doesn't surprise me. From what I've read, there's only 707 of these for the world, and only 47 of them in North America. And when I say North America, Canada only, because for reasons that I don't know, they were not sold in the US. Canada only. This edition model came in 4 different colors: Alpine white, some shade of black, oh, I can't remember the name off the top of my head, Dakar yellow, and Monte Carlo blue. So of the 47 that were sold in Canada, how many are white? I don't know. So what's different about the edition models? Well, pretty much like all other special edition M3s, E92s, not a whole lot really. The most significant thing, 10mm lowered suspension. So essentially what you got on the competition package for 2011 to 13. Other than that, you get chrome black accents on the exterior from the factory. So kidney grills, hood vent trim pieces. So these pieces right here, which are normally body colored but are black in this case. Black side markers, black mirror caps with a white frame mount, I guess. Whereas normally, if this was a white car, this piece would be black and the cap would be white. And then at the back, chrome black exhaust tips. So that's it for the exterior. Having the 220M wheels in black was also an option for the edition models, but obviously that wasn't spec'd on this car. But I'm totally fine with silver. So the differences on the interior are slightly more noticeable. So yeah, we got white armrests, a white center console, white stripes and stitching on the seats, and white stitching for the carbon leather trim on the dashboard. This car was a rather lucky find. Found it in late January of this year, and it only has 38,000 kilometers on it. It had under 38,000 when I got it, so that's around 24,000 miles for you Americans. As far as other options, does have EDC, electronic damping control, which I'm happy about. DCT transmission, obviously. White stripes on the back seats as well. And yeah, that's basically it. Pop the hood. So yeah, there we go. Good old S65 4-liter V8, 414 horse, 295 torques, red line 8,400. Makes its max power at 83, I believe. Yeah, it's a pretty amazing motor. So different to the C63s in character. I kind of had to relearn how to drive quickly a little bit after going to this car, after something with so much low-end grunt. But this thing above 4,000 just wakes up so much. It's amazing. So obviously the one issue with these motors, well, potential issue I should say, because I do think it's a little bit overblown, but the one thing that everyone on the internet likes to talk about is the rod bearings, of course. Which actually, I plan on keeping this car long term. So rod bearings are probably the first thing I'm going to do. And not OEM factory replacement rod bearings. I'm going to go with aftermarket ones. called B bearings. You may have heard of them if you've done any research on E92 M3 rod bearings. Basically, they have a little bit more clearance than the factory bearings, and in theory should be good for the life of the engine, and are still made out of the copper lead combination that the 08 to 2010 M3's bearings were made out of, like this car is. So now to address the well, the title of this video, I guess. Why did I sell the C63 for this car? A bunch of reasons. I decided that as good a car as the C63 was, well, I shouldn't say anything, but there wasn't enough about the car that I felt warranted keeping it long term, because if I was going to sink like a good chunk of my money into a car, I decided, well, you know, it better be something that I want to keep a long time and may hold its value reasonably well long term as well. So yeah, I found this for sale after looking literally every day online for about 3 months, and I was prepared to do a trade on this car when I found this, but managed to sell the C63 privately at the last minute, which was great. Saved a lot of hassle at the dealer. This thing is super clean inside and out. I really couldn't be much happier with it, and also being quite a low mileage example, it was quite a lucky find. And on top of that, it's a special edition, so I'm pretty confident that I'm not going to see anyone else around here with an E92 M3 exactly like this one. So how does this stack up to the C63? Well, I think you can probably guess. This car feels a bit more tossable. It feels lighter on its feet. The steering is quicker. I wouldn't say necessarily better feel to it, but it's definitely quicker on center. Well, engines, both V8s, but that's basically where the similarities end. So like I said before, I had to relearn a little bit how to drive fast when I got this car, because the performance below 4,000 RPM really isn't all that much. Above 4,000 RPM, it's amazing how much the car wakes up. Everything gets sharper. The throttle response feels a lot sharper. There's just more of everything. Power and torque, obviously. It just feels like a more race-derived engine. Well, which it is. The Mercs engine was amazing, but this thing feels really, really special. And sounds quite nice too, especially considering this is stock exhaust. This car is totally stock, by the way, except for the conservatively sized spacer kit I bought for it from Berger Motorsports. 10 mils on the rear and 12s on the front. But anyway, the biggest difference between this and the C63, transmission, no doubt. The C63's transmission was good for just a torque converter automatic, and it would work okay in automatic mode, but like sometimes, you know, well, a lot of the time the downshifts would just be very sluggish, and sometimes it wouldn't downshift at all when you wanted it to. This never fails to give you a downshift exactly when you want it, and no matter what your RPM is as well. And it's surprisingly good in automatic mode, actually, better than I thought it would be. Very minimal jerkiness, doesn't get caught out or confused very often. It's great. So far I'm absolutely over the moon with this car. It really is everything that I hoped it would be. E92 M3 has always been one of my favorite cars. I mean, certainly has always been my favorite generation of M3, and I do plan on keeping this long term. And I mean, these are already sort of becoming a modern classic, and the nice ones are starting to hold their value reasonably well, so fingers crossed. Who knows, maybe they'll start creeping back up in value at some point. Doesn't mean I'm going to want to sell it though, because I like it so much. I hope to be making lots of interesting, informative videos for E92 M3 lovers, because I'm definitely one of them. It's been one of my favorite cars for a long time. That's about it for now. I'm going to give you a cold start, and we will see you again soon.